Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We stopped here yesterday that self-knowledge is the greatest secret, 2 types of eternity. Yeah, we'll just quickly run through that. So this was the third verse. 2 types of eternity, Paramarthika and Pravaha, Nityatva. So Krishna anticipating Arjuna's next question as to why you did not tell me this before. Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. Today, that same ancient yoga has been told to you by me because you are my devotee and my friend. This is indeed a profound secret. And then we saw how the teachings of the Veda are towards moksha, and that realizing that you are Parabrahma, that is the highest that one needs to gain, having been given a human birth. And for this, there are 2 lifestyles that the Veda puts forth. One is the one who has inner maturity goes towards, is given the lifestyle of sannyasa, whereas those that still have to gain inner maturity have karma yoga. And it's not enough if you are intellectually mature, you have to be emotionally mature. And you need those 3 things: viveka, and have a say on your ragas and dveshas. Because if it's given to people who are scattered minds, durbalan, and ajitendriyan, prapya nashtam yogam. So this yoga, this ancient knowledge, is as though lost when it is given to people who are weak in their mind, scattered minds, and those that have no say over their mind, over their senses. Reaching such people, this yoga also gets scattered, meaning that the knowledge has no hold on them. Therefore, it is as though lost. And this knowledge is ancient. Whatever is discovered may seem new, but it is actually there even before. Just like how the sun does not move, but it as though seems as if the sun is moving around the earth. But the knowledge is that the earth moves around the sun. So whether one knows this fact or not, the the fact remains, the truth is that the earth revolves around the sun. So that is there, that knowledge is there. Then there are two types of eternity, Paramartha Nityatva and Pravaha Nityatva. And Vedantic knowledge has both. The Veda has Pravaha Nityatva. Where is that? Um, the Veda is considered to be eternal in the perennial sense only. Moreover, why had this perennially eternal knowledge not been given to Arjuna before? Because Arjuna did not ask for it. He did not come to that, he did not come to recognize the problem. He did not surrender to him. Unless one becomes a student, unless one yearns for this knowledge, one is not given. Where is that? There was one where it said Vedantic knowledge is both. It has Pravaha as well as Paramarthika. Okay, I think I'll just go back once. Yeah, no, the Veda is considered to be eternal in the perennial sense only. I think somewhere, I think it was yesterday, maybe in yesterday's knowledge reading, that we got to know that one is both. And I think I got confused with that. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second.
What is it, Dr. Pramara?
No, that one of them was Vedanta was supposed to be both.
Oh, the perennial,
Ah,
the Veda is considered to be eternal in the perennial sense only.
in the perennial sense only.
Yeah.
But there were two things given, and Vedanta was supposed to be both. So probably it was, where was that?
The Vedanta is more
Hmm.
like
What's
it
the
talks
secret?
about the Brahman, right? That's a knowledge. I don't. Is it in this one we read? The same sloka?
I think so. I think I read
Yeah,
it
the vision
yesterday.
of the Veda, that Veda is in the front, and the Vedanta is. mm,
There was one sentence which said,
mm.
"This is both," and I'm thinking it was with that nityatva.
Yeah, the Nityatva is the where we read about. Even there, Vedas were it coming with every creation. Although knowledge that is the Veda keeps on coming with every creation. That's where you are talking about Vyasa, right? That
Mm,
there Vyasa is the one who did the Brahma Sutras,
yeah,
and so he did this Gita also in 2 verses. That's where we read that part about Vedanta part, I
yeah.
think.
It's okay. I think we'll go forward, and I don't want to get,
No, no, it's okay. I mean, it's
spend time
good
over
to
this.
clear your doubt also. Maybe we read it in the later part here. Yeah, the being informed enough about Veda, Vyasa qualified. The next page, maybe it's coming there. We read his Brahma Sutras, Vyasa himself.
Yeah, 12.
Hmm.
Was it the greatest, not the greatest secret? There are two types of secret. I think, yeah, this is what it was. Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
right. Vedanta
Vedanta
Ragasya.
Rahasya is both. That is what it
Hmm.
is. Sorry. So,
Yeah.
with Paramarthika Nityatva and Pravaha Nityatva,
Hmm.
Paramarthika Nityatva is what is the truth. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma.
Yeah, absolute truth.
That's absolute eternity.
Hmm.
Whereas the Pravaha
Perennial.
Nityatva is time bound.
Yeah.
Like Veda is time bound. So once you person realizes there is no more need for the Veda,
Hmm.
it drops off, right? So it is only there as long as creation is there. Once creation, you realize you are the creator. You are the creation starts from you. You're the center of it. Then it loses its significance. Whereas Paramarthika Nityatva is the absolute eternity, absolute truth. And then there are two types of secrets. I think it was here that Vedanta has both. So one is a secret that is kept away from perception. That is, it is not available to your ears and eyes. And the other one, although you're exposed to it, you don't understand it. So one secret is kept away from you because it is something that you cannot understand. But because it is kept away from your perception, from your ears and eyes, you are kept from coming to know of it by something other than yourself. The other type of secret is seen by you. It is available to be known by you, but still you do not understand. Therefore, it seems it remains Rahasya. The Vedanta Rahasya is both. For want of Vedanta, the truth of of yourself remains a secret. But then, even when Vedanta is available, it remains a secret for want of preparedness on the part of the listener. Sarla ji says it was about the secret. Correct. So,
The tour secret is the name. They didn't give name, right? Just they
they did
said
not give the name.
Yeah, Uttama Ragasyam. It says
Mm,
among all regret, like you said, the one the Gukya, what is that? Gukya, Raja
Guhya.
Gukya, right?
Mm.
That,
Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga,
right. That's
the royal
Uttama
secret.
Ragasyam. Right. Okay.
So, self knowledge is Uttamam Rahasya, Uttama Rahasya. But then there are classification of secrets, two types. One, where you've not perceived that secret. through your senses. The second is you have perceived it, but you still do not understand it. Like all of us who are exposed to this knowledge, we are reading the Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. We are reading about the self, but we still do not understand about the self. So that remains that secret. The reality revealed by Vedanta is not easy to understand by those who are conditioned into thinking that they are useless and limited. A conviction that is often confirmed by everyone around them. If a person who thinks in this way is told that he or she is Satya, Jnana, Ananta, Sarvakarana, Purna, and so on, the person will become totally confused. He or she will have a new problem. If I am Satya, why do I feel so useless? I must be even more useless than I thought. This new problem is also brought about because the Atma is not easy to understand. That is why we have the Prakarana Granthas, we have the preparatory texts like Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh. So directly you cannot, be given a PhD knowledge, right? So you cannot just say, oh, you are the self, Tattvamasi. You need to learn what, what is creation? How did the universe come about? What is the physical body? What is the mind? What is the stula, sukshma, karana, shariras? So all that will slowly, it's like by little, you're getting to understand. Then with that understanding, you say, oh yes, I'm able to see the thoughts in my mind, be aware of the thoughts. So I am not the mind, I am not the thoughts. So then there is that inquiry that happens. So as long as a person thinks he is limited and he is insecure, he thinks of himself as that, this Atma Jnana is far from. He would not be able to understand it. So this knowledge can be misunderstood as well, which is why it was generally kept away from the majority of people. Moreover, even if it is made available, it is not understood. For example, those who study the Veda and are able to recite it, including the Upanishads, do not usually understand what they are reciting. For such people, the words revealing the truth are available, but not the knowledge thereof. Therefore, it is Uttama Rahasya, the greatest secret. Thus, either due to its non availability or due to non understanding, the knowledge remains Uttama Rahasya, the ultimate secret. So, two things: non availability, not exposed to it, is one. Second, having been exposed, not understanding. This knowledge should only be given to one who wants to know. In Arjuna's case, the knowledge was not given to him because Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in it before. Even if he had taught him, the knowledge would not have meant anything to Arjuna. Such knowledge should only be given to someone who wants to know. Unless a person recognizes that there is a problem, it is useless to offer a solution. We can give the person a hint by saying that there is a fundamental problem that he or she does not recognize. However, only when the person recognizes that there is a problem is the solution of any interest to him or her. Arjuna also had to recognize that there was a problem. He had been brought up in a certain way at a time when Vyasa and Shuka were household names. Such people were walking in and out of palaces where Arjuna, his brothers, and their cousins were growing up. Naturally, then, Arjuna had many opportunities to hear about this knowledge. But as a prince, he was concerned with acquiring the skills, accomplishments, and laurels of a prince, all of which were good and necessary also. This is what we also do, right? All our life we are busy working towards material gains. schooling and then education and then a job, a career, family, taking care of the family. Not that all these are not important, but getting entangled in them and not seeing and not getting to know the ultimate goal, that becomes wasteful living. Even during this his 12-year exile, Arjuna's main concern was the acquisition and maintenance of missiles and various skills in order to win back the kingdom. For Arjuna, this was a one-pointed commitment, ekagrata, and obsession. Therefore, he had neither the time nor the interest to pursue this knowledge. Now, in the battlefield, all his other interests melted away. Even his accomplishments appeared useless to him because he saw they were all meant for destruction. So he comes to the point of vairagya. So when you have dispassion, all the other seemingly important things earlier start melting away. Arjuna had lived a life of dharma. He had the necessary viveka to be able to distinguish between right and wrong. He also had compassion, because of which, when he saw how destructive the battle would be, he no longer wanted to fight. He was like a boxer who trains himself for the world championship. For 6 months, every day, all day, he runs, eats the proper food, exercises, works out with punching bags, and wears out several sparring partners as well. He also spends $500,000 to achieve his end. On the day when the bout is about to take place, he climbs into the ring, applauded by the enthusiastic fans that have come to watch. Then, looking at his opponent, he suddenly becomes sympathetic and walks out. So, this sums up how Arjuna's mental state was, how he spent the rest of his life before coming to the battlefield and before becoming Krishna's student. This may be the proper thing to do, but his opponent is not going to see it this way. Instead, he will say, he will brag, the poor fellow took one look at me and ran away. Everyone else, including his own manager, will say the same thing, and his opponent will become the champion by default. This was Arjuna's problem exactly. He did not want to fight, not out of fear, but out of compassion. Naturally, then, he had to decide whether he should fight or not. He was cornered, so to speak, and had to make a decision. So, the qualities Arjuna had and why he was given this knowledge and why Krishna waited till this time. Why did he not give this Uttama Rahasya to him before? Number one, Krishna says, I consider you my friend. I consider you my devotee. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Rahasyam hetaduttama. So that is from Krishna's perspective. From Arjuna's perspective, he realized he had a problem. He was living a life of dharma. And he had the viveka to distinguish right and wrong. And he had surrendered to Krishna at his feet. And as Bela mentioned yesterday, he was also Anasuya. And Krishna tells him, it is because you are Anasuya, you do not find fault in others as well as his teaching, Krishna's teaching as well. An objective opinion is always helpful. Whenever you have to make a decision that involves the consideration of several factors, it is always helpful to have the opinion of someone else who is not involved in the issue. The mind of such a person will very likely be more objective than yours with reference to the particular issue you are attempting to resolve. Because you have a problem that has several things to consider. Sometimes, rather than you coming to a decision, it's always good to take the opinion of another, because to have an objective view, otherwise you will get entangled in your own subjective perception of that issue. Krishna was someone Arjuna could talk to. Having seen the meaninglessness of all his previous pursuits and victories, Arjuna wanted to know the meaning of life, not the meaning of victory. What am I going to gain out of this victory? Why should I gain anything out of anything? Is a question about life itself, and was the essence of Arjuna's question. And now that Arjuna had asked the question, Krishna could give him the knowledge. He says, no, Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacha Rajyam Sukhanicha. Kim no Rajyena Govinda, Kim no Vai Jivitena Va. So, what is the use of this kingdom? What is the use of this life when I have killed everybody? For the asking, this knowledge may be given, but it does have to be asked for. This was how it was kept away from the people. Vedanta was almost unheard of until recently. Only during the past 100 years has it been more widely available, and many of the translations that are presently in circulation contain erroneous concepts, resulting in further confusion about Vedanta. Vedanta is not a common subject matter. It is kept away from people either because it is so easily misunderstood or because people are not interested in it. In fact, it is better to listen to Vedanta without any background whatsoever than to have already been initiated into it wrongly. Otherwise, you have to recast your understanding, which is not easy and can be very painful as well. So, coming to Vedanta, why was it kept a secret? Because it is to be given to those that ask for it. Otherwise, it will become like the Durbalan Ajitendriyan Prapya Nashtam Bhavati.
Not have Durbalan means like they have weak heart or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
scattered minds.
Scattered mind, yes, Sanchala, right? So they won't be even able to understand it when they have that kind of mind. So even that's what that said, right? That uh, the Ragasya is you know it's there, but you don't understand it because of
Correct.
that
You might not
that
understand it,
mind. Yeah.
but if you wrongly understand it, which
Mm.
is what happens, then it is actually lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Even in
People
Ganpati
either
Atharva
understand
Stotra,
or they
it
don't
is said
understand.
like that.
Yeah. But well, that was said two types of secrets, right? One is uh,
one is kept from your perception.
perception. Yeah.
The
Mm.
other one, you perceive it, but you still don't understand.
Right. So this thing about Durpal and that nothing else. Sorry. You
Come
just
again, Dr. Mala.
no that sentence you just said nashta.
Durbalan ajitendriyan
Right,
prapya
right.
nashtam bhavat.
Nashtam bhavati. Okay, okay.
So it is as though lost. It is not that it is lost.
Right, right. If
You
you
can,
misunderstood it.
right,
Mm,
misunderstand it, and if you are not ready for it, you're not even seeking it, then
mm,
it is as though lost. It is
right.
like the knowledge, the truth that
Okay. Mm,
the earth revolves around the sun is
mhm.
not moving, is the truth, Now, whether you know it or not, the truth remains.
Right.
But if in the somewhere in the middle, this is not included in the texts, say science textbooks, then
Mm.
it is as though lost, but that truth remains, that
Right.
knowledge remains.
Mm.
But because it is not given, it is not put in the syllabus or whatever, because
Right.
people have not reached out for it because of their scattered minds and their
Mm.
indulgence in the world, it is as though lost.
Mm.
But this is Sanatana Dharma. This is eternal. This
Mm.
knowledge remains. There will be someone who carries the thread forward. That is why when the whole country, the nation was under Buddhism, the
Mm.
influence of Buddhism, there was one Adi Shankara who came up and then reinstated the whole thing.
Right.
It did not die completely. It is there. It just requires the right kind of people to, number one,
Mm.
give and receive it.
Mm.
That is why later Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanama dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So as and when the dharma is on the decline,
Mm.
then I will take form and then come to uplift dharma.
Right.
That is why in the last 100 years, Vedanta now, most people know what, at least they have a concept of Vedanta.
Mm.
So earlier it was not like that. Earlier it was given only to those who sought. Now people understand, oh, there are different texts. There is something called Upanishads. They have a
Mm.
fair idea about it. It is because of so much of spiritual, um, uh, the spread of spirituality is far and
Right.
wide now.
Like all these people, right? Like Swami Chinmayananda or all this other, like Gurudev, all these people are taking to the West, meaning uh, until that time it was only within India, right? Of course, if you see these names you read earlier, like Schopenhauer or some
Yeah, yeah.
Hegel, all these people, I always wonder, how did German got hold of all this Sanskrit literature
Mm,
and read? And if you see most of the footnotes, like in the Wikipedia, uh, they give all this quote, like references. If you see, all of them are like Germans.
mm,
They all read it for some reason, but it didn't reach out to the common people in
mm,
even in India itself. So now, um, so that's a difference between the acharyas, and then came down to uh, what do you call these people? Uh, Sorry, uh, I'm talking about more like Arvar. And in Tamil we call those people like the Nayanmargal and Arvargal. They only sang about the praise about God and goddesses, right? Uh,
mm,
but then when it came down to acharyas like Ramanujar, Shankaracharya, all these people, they took it to spread it to the common people. Like
mm.
until then we didn't have that knowledge. It's like here it said, right, like kings, it only remained in the royal families, like
Mm,
brahmanas, because they are but varnashrama wise, they were uh, into that. But then so again, it's all depending on how literate people are to read and write and all these things.
yeah. Why
Yeah,
initially,
yeah.
when I first did my Art of Living course, it
Mm,
was called the basic course then.
mm,
We, I was listening to, we had these Ashtavakra sessions going on. And at
mm,
that time, the rule was very different. You
mm,
had to have minimum 5 people
mm,
who are committed to listen to the knowledge. Only
Mm.
then we were allowed to even listen to Ashtavakra, Gurudev's
Oh,
commentary on Ashtavakra.
oh, I see. Mm.
Now, by and by, now it
Mm.
is like 25 years, 26 years now.
Mm.
From the last couple of years, it is available on, it's available as CDs, it's available on the Art of Living app. So
Mm.
whoever, of course, whoever, now that rule is no longer there. You can sit and listen to Ashtavakra yourself.
True, but it's not like how it's been taught to you, right? The- I
Hmm.
it's nice. Like even this one, unless Nanaji spent that much time, almost a whole year,
Yeah.
taught us, we
Hmm.
have better understanding. Of course, by reading again and again. But he was a guiding, like a
Correct.
light to us. So without somebody teaching us properly, this is, higher knowledge, right? I mean, it's not like something you can easily understand.
Right.
Yeah. It's anyway, that's nice, Dr. Brahmer. I mean, it's going through this. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I still think, we've been almost 5 years. Like we started this when we were in COVID time, right? In 21. Yeah, that's when I
Yeah.
stopped
We
working.
started in 20, um, was it
21
21 or
October or
22?
November, I
No,
think.
we
I don't
started
know.
20,
Uh, you
um,
came to Lakshman's wedding, right? And
correct,
then
correct.
after his wedding was in when? September or I don't remember exactly what month it was. July, I
No,
think it was
it
in the
was
summer.
March 22 we started.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, that was a COVID time. 21. Hmm. So 22 maybe we started.
Chaya Anna's Bhagavad Gita was started, and after that we made a group this one, and then it started.
That's why I'm thinking about going back to our videos to look up the date. Yesterday I was thinking about it. It's been 5 years that we've been reading this, and
Mm.
oh, oh wow, that like you said 12 years. Yesterday we were reading 12 years exile, right, for us to
Yeah,
get
I
the
know.
knowledge. So I'm thinking, okay, we already passed 5 years. Oh, another 7 years, like that. I was thinking.
Yeah, 25. How time flies, no?
Yeah. Mhm. But we've
Yes.
been through like we read a lot. I mean, of course, among other than Gita, we did Bhajagovindam, Kena Upanishad, and I don't know, I don't remember much in Kena Upanishad, but then we did Gurudev's Gita also, right? Or something we
Tatmabodh,
did.
Atmabodh.
Atmabodh, yeah, we did Atmabodh, Tattvabodh so much, so many, at least 2, 3 times. And then Bhagavatam, we did. Oh my God. So we did a lot. I mean, trying to understand sadhana panchakam, maya panchakam, and yeah, so
No, I
many
think
times.
you're right. We started it in July in 2021, not 2022.
Yeah, that's when I retired. I stopped working. I met Sri on the curbside, and she said, "Oh, my
Mm.
Nana is starting this lesson." We were talking about Lakshman's wedding, how it went nicely, and all that. Then she said, "Oh, if you want to attend this school thing, I'm happy to do that." That's when I remember like that. So it was
Yeah,
in
correct.
July. Yeah.
2020, we
Hmm.
started in March.
Okay.
March. Yeah.
I
Last week in my Sanskrit group, I met one chanting lady. They took
hmm.
10 years to complete 18 chapters.
Oh, for the Gita.
Yes, Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, okay, okay. I know
See,
that's why
again,
I'm
like
trying to.
Swami, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to think how many Sanskrit verses in Gita that I know by memory. Only two, I think. I constantly talk about there is the chant is one in the Vishnu Sahasranama that Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Mhm.
Paritranaya Sadhunam. That I know fluently, but the other ones, some halfway, I know a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Like
have
Swami
to,
Chinmayananda says, he
uh,
says, it is not enough how many times you've gone through the Gita,
right,
how much of the Gita has gone through you.
gone through you, right, exactly. Mhm. Yeah, his videos are so nice. Like, he literally made, some of his shots, if you see Swami Chinmayananda, make sure they even pronounce it properly, the
Mm,
Gita chanting. When he tried to do the upanyasam about each verse, like he made sure they say it properly, and then, okay, I'm going to ask tomorrow. Like everybody
yeah,
should know this, like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So this paragraph is important because Vedanta is not a common subject matter. It is
Mm.
kept away from people either because it is so easily misunderstood or because people are not interested in it. In fact, it is better to listen to Vedanta without any background whatsoever than to have already been initiated into it wrongly. So we have these preparatory texts so that you can be initiated into it correctly. So you have the correct background, the foundation is there. These are the foundation and preparatory texts like Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh. Otherwise, if you're wrongly initiated into it, you have some preconditioned knowledge, and then you're exposed to Vedanta. You might only misunderstand it completely.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you have to recast your understanding, which is not easy and can be very painful as well.
painful as well. Yeah, Brahma
That is why
Jnana
that
only can.
sampradaya is important.
Yeah,
What
how we,
sampradaya you follow. So Dvaita sampradaya will not accept that Tattvamasi is not true for them. For them,
yeah,
it is Dvaita. They're rooted in duality. Whereas Advaita sampradaya talks of you are the one, Tattvamasi. So if you've come from a Dvaitan background and then you're exposed to this, you will only get more and more confused. And it'll be painful because you have to let go of your earlier concepts.
yeah. Even when you're doing this Ramanuja's teaching, right? Even though it says Advaita, what do you call that? Vishishta
Vishishta
Advaita.
Advaita.
Advaita. Even they say Advaita, but then uh, they think Paramatma uh, has his own. That's how I remember. This Jivatma and Paramatma is separate kind of.
Mm. I don't even want to, I honestly, I know like
Mm,
superficially that the Dvaitins believe, like for instance, all the BAPS people,
mm,
Swaminarayan, they're all Dvaitins. ISKCON,
mm.
Dvaitins. So for them, how can you be Krishna? How can you be God? God is God, you are you.
Yeah,
I don't know in depth, but this is on the superficial level. This is what I understand what the Vaitans, their concept is. So
right. Yeah. But
we don't,
then, yeah, when you're trying to see in Advaita level, it is difficult to understand, but it makes sense.
hmm,
But then again, like we are always worshipping this Rupa, Nema, Rupa like that, then what to believe sometimes that
no.
becomes a
See,
mm,
we have to go through Dvaita to get to Advaita, no doubt.
Advaita, right?
But the understanding, what is your ultimate understanding? What is the the highest knowledge that is given in Advaita is that you are that Tatvamasi.
Yeah.
You have to.
In Visishta Advaita is just you are also part of that
Mm,
whole. So Vishnu is worshipping, right? So they think you are part of that Vishnu. So so you are one. You are not the same, but you are the part of the God. So that becomes that Advaita. That's how we are part of that Swami. Anyway, I know you don't want there, but here in Advaita we say we are the one and the same. There's only one as a whole, Brahman, you know.
yeah. See, I'm just went through the Google to find out Dvaita and Advaita. So, Dvaita, dualism, and Vishishta Advaita, qualified non dualism, are Hindu philosophies focusing on the relationship between God, individual souls, and the world. Dvaita, led by Madhvacharya, argues that they are entirely separate and eternal. Vishishta Advaita, taught by Ramanuja, views the soul as part of Brahman, distinct yet inseparable. The final goal for them is the goal is eternal communion and service to God, specifically in his personal form, Saguna Brahma. For them, the core relationship, Dvaita emphasizes total distinction, Bheda. Vishishta Advaita advocates for a qualified unity where the world is seen as the body of God. Liberation, both traditions strongly emphasize devotion, bhakti, and grace for liberation. Both schools view the world as real, rejecting the idea of absolute illusion, Maya. The soul in Dvaita, souls differ in nature and are eternally dependent servants. In Vishishta Advaita, souls are considered part and parcel of the Supreme Soul.
Yeah, I didn't do Madhvacharya part, but Ramanujar, kind of interesting to me. So anyway, just I brought that up because of um, how we are looking at dualism and try to understand it. But if you see all the Acharya like Dayananda Swami or Chinmayananda, all of them preach only Advaita. Even Ramakrishna too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
See, Advaita brings in the concept of Maya,
Mm,
whereas Dvaita considers they both are eternal. Jiva
mm,
and Brahma are eternal.
right.
Yeah, that's fine. Should Vedanta be taught to everyone? So for us, what is our understanding and takeaway is not to be carried away by it is that yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti manishinaha vedavadarata partha nanya dastiti vadina. So for us, getting that vyavasayatmika buddhi, being one pointed in our pursuit, even of the different types of philosophy. On social media, you'll find so many interesting things. And people might say, oh, this is very nice. You must listen to this lecture. You must do that. You must do this. But having found and carved, you've chosen this path and rather than get carried away by this and that, being focused and having that viveka to say, no, this is what I want. There may be a number of things out there, but especially if they are from a different philosophy, you should quietly, with respect, not that you're disrespecting them, Every religion, I mean, every sect has their own importance, but you having known what is important to you,
Yeah, that's very
with respect,
important.
you let
Yeah,
them. You
yeah.
live and let live, and you carry on forward. You don't need to get, carried away. That is why you can't read any and every commentary. See, Swami
Okay.
Dayananda took 3 years to complete this Bhagavad
Mm,
Gita study. What we are doing now, home study, was
mm,
taught to his students, brahmacharis, for 3 years, and this was
three.
all was the notes that came up from that.
Mm.
So he's gone, and he is quoted. His basis is Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya,
Charya commentary, right? That's
which
why
is,
we,
Advaita Sampradaya,
right.
which is what Gurudev also says. You read, no problem, but stick to the same Sampradaya.
Mm.
Should Vedanta be taught to
When,
everyone?
sorry,
Yeah,
in
please
12th,
go.
in 12th chapter, Krishna says, when Arjuna asks which is better, whether, Vedantin or have a personalized God, he says better to have personalized God is easy to connect. Otherwise, that's what he says in 12th chapter. You're able to recollect?
Yeah, no, whether it is correct, you're very right. So that is what I'm saying. So initially, to
Mm.
get that bhakti, you see, even karma yoga has a bit of dualism in it. But how are you having this dualistic attitude? Because you recognize Ishvara as the karma phaladata.
Mm.
Otherwise, you will know bhakti.
Right.
Yeah.
If we have to go through dualism,
Yeah.
but ultimately, what is your understanding in Dvaita philosophy? You remain Dvaita. The Dvaita Bheda is the truth. There is an Advaita. What is it? Karma yoga is a path, is a lifestyle where you recognize Ishvara. You're offering everything as a prayer, as an act of devotion. That comes only when there is that difference, no?
Yes.
Otherwise, how can you offer something to someone? So therefore, this concept of the Ishvara, recognizing Ishvara is important for even in Advaita. But ultimately, you karma yogi also pursues knowledge, pursues Vedanta. Finally, arriving at the conclusion, Aham Brahmasmi.
Even Ramakrishna Paramahamsa started like that, like Kali worshipping. Then
Yeah,
later,
correct,
one stage, then he gave up that also. And,
correct,
yeah.
correct. So we should get the perspective right. Why are we having prayers? Why are we doing this? We should have a proper understanding. Of course, there is, in order to get that bhakti, you have that dualism is inevitable. But from dualistic thing, you go on to the Advaita state.
Yeah. We asked that question so many times. I
I know,
don't
so many
remember.
times we went,
we, know, we are
which
praying
God,
all
why so many gods,
room
all
full
that.
of gods and goddesses. What do I do?
But you
So
see
this
the
is,
oneness in everything.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, now we see it better that
Mm,
than what to believe. Like in the initial stages, especially in Anandji,
mm,
we kept asking, "Oh, my favorite god is this, and what do I
mm,
do?"
mm.
So
Now there is little more clarity dawn, right?
yeah, 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 definitely.
Respect
So
for that.
we are doing all this for Antakarna Shuddhi.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're supposed to do it.
So should Vedanta be taught to everyone? Deliberately keeping Vedanta away from people can be a problem because it prevents them from knowing it is there. Still, a person who has this knowledge may have a conflict about talking publicly about Vedanta because the people who come to listen may not really want to know or even need to know. They may come to the talk thinking they are going to get something out of it without really knowing what is going to be taught. Moreover, if they already know what is being taught, they do not need to come. Whether it will help those who do not know is anyone's guess. Also, the teaching can be very easily misconstrued by those who are not ready, as evidenced by the kinds of questions that are asked and the comments made after the teaching has taken place. I can relate to this when, if you're not really ready, then the kinds of questions also will be accordingly, right? We'll keep asking, what is the proof? What is the proof
Yeah.
there is Maya? Where did Prarabdha first start? All of that, all those
Started first. How
basic
did it?
questions come up.
Yeah. Oh my
When did the
God.
first
We had
karma
all
begin?
kind of question that
Mhm.
time.
Correct. In such cases, it seems to be a waste, not only with reference to the people themselves, but also in terms of the erroneous notions they will pass on to those to whom they talk in turn. This is why many teachers talk only to those who come to them and not to the public. However, if no one talks to the public, how are people going to know? There is a saying in Tamil that is very appropriate here. In India, the month before the northern solstice begins is considered to be very important time for prayers and other religious activities. During this period, one person of a particular family is appointed to go to each house in several villages between 4 and 5 every morning and blow a conch. Then, during the following month, which is harvest time, he will go to everyone and collect enough rice to last him for the whole year. Although this person is supposed to blow the conch at each house just before dawn, he has so many villages to cover that he must begin in the first village at 11 at night. He then has to walk to all the other villages, which are approximately 1 hour apart. So he arrives at the other villages at 12 midnight, at 1 in the morning, and so on. In this way, he covers them all, reaching the last village at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. If you ask him, why did you start the night before? He will reply, my job is to blow the conch and I blow it. The dawn will come when it comes. Because of this practice, blowing the conch is a common expression in some South Indian districts. The practice itself is a kind of prayer, considered to be very important for keeping away all undesirable events such as drought, disease, and so on, so that the village will have plenty and prosperity. Similarly, a teacher of Vedanta blows the conch. The dawn of knowledge will come when it comes. In some cases, the conch may have been blown a little earlier than necessary, perhaps. However, when a conflict arises in the teacher's mind, he or she has only to say, just blow the conch. Otherwise, a person who has this knowledge has to sit quietly in one place and talk only to those who come and ask to be taught. Really speaking, this is the thing to be done rather than giving this knowledge to anyone and everyone, irrespective of the fact whether the person is ready or not. This is because this knowledge is not like any other knowledge. It is Uttama Rahasya and is best given to those who ask for it. Therefore, Arjuna, Krishna might have said, I did keep this knowledge away from you. However, do not blame me. I kept it away from you only because you did not ask for it. Then Arjuna's next question would have been, all right, but why did you choose to teach me today? In anticipation of such a question, Krishna says here, because you said you are my student and you asked me to teach you. Yeah, we have few more paras. I will just go through this today. Once Krishna recognized Arjuna as a student, as a devotee, Arjuna may have felt that he had lost a friend, although he had gained a teacher. This often happens in self arranged and mutually consented marriages. A husband or wife is gained and a friend is lost. Until marriage, the other person is a good friend. But as soon as the marriage takes place, the friendship goes. This is a most unfortunate situation because friendship between husband and wife is to be maintained. To reassure Arjuna that their friendship is not lost, Krishna tells him, Not only are you my devotee, Bhakta, you are also my friend, Sakha. Bhaktosi me Sakha cheti. Thus, Arjuna was doubly blessed. He not only gained a teacher, but he could continue to talk to Krishna as a friend. When Krishna says, "You are my friend," me Sakha asi, he does so as Mr. Krishna, not as Ishvara, the Lord. After all, their friendship was not an age-old one. It could be counted in years. But when Krishna says, "You are my devotee," Bhaktosi me, he is talking as Ishvara as well as Guru. On this point, Arjuna asks a question to clear up a doubt, one that is in the minds of many people. Arjuna had heard that Krishna was Bhagavan Vishnu himself. He certainly knew that Krishna possessed great powers because he had seen Krishna demonstrate his powers. Perhaps Arjuna, having been told that Krishna was Vishnu, wanted to hear it straight from Krishna himself. In his commentary, Shankara says that Arjuna's question was simply to remove the doubts in the minds of those who do not recognize Krishna as the Lord. And then Arjuna asks the fourth verse. So we'll stop here. We went by 4 minutes. So maybe we'll quickly run through this tomorrow just to sum it up and then go to the fourth verse. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.